All right, an update on the staging yard. And this time there's a little bit of work that I've done with the Helix, but we'll start here and talk about the Helix in a bit. The first thing that I've been doing today, at least, was I'd been thinking of lengthening these engine facility tracks, and I just bit the bullet and did it. On this line, I just used the piece of flex track that I had left over. And these two, the reason I had been debating on doing it was I knew I didn't have enough flex track, but I ended up having a few more extra sections of 6-inch, I think it's 6-inch sectional track, and figured why not? I probably won't use them anywhere else, and it's going to be kind of back out of the way, so it'll work. So I did that this morning, and then I did some tidying up of the wires as well. Doesn't look like it, ignore that, but haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet. As far as electrical, from leaving off from the last video, I had ordered the PSXX circuit breakers. Saw that they were going to be coming in really quick, and the post office decided to put a week and a half crimp to those plans by shipping them 30 minutes away from where I live to the local distribution center, and deciding that they'd be better shipping back across the country and then back to me finally. But I did finally get them. I've got them installed. I added, and of course the Air Force decides to fly over at the time I'm filming. Hopefully you can't hear that. If you do, that's what that loud whine is. But ended up getting LEDs wired to it as well. Green showing that there's power getting to the board. Blue means there's power to track. If it's flashing, there's a short. So there was no real reason to why I chose blue and green, except I had enough of those to do it. So I did. I did need to rewire and run some new wire, mainly because some of the old sections of the layout were, I think, 16 gauge wire, and I wanted to use 14. So to keep everything uniform, I, pulled that out. I cleaned up some of the terminal strips that I had some weird things going on, but got all that wiring done, turned on the layout, started to test for shorts, and had some weird things with odd circuit breakers, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and realized I hadn't isolated that back line. So took this piece of track out, cut it in half, or whatever that is, put in the isolation. That's good. This section was not tripping this breaker anymore. But when I went to just short this section, I was tripping the Helix portion as well in the staging, and realized that I had moved all these wires to feeder to the I can talk, to terminal strips that were linked to the Helix, and I missed the one that was over here. So I took that one and added it to the Helix, mainly because this back line isn't going to get used much, if at all. I'm still trying to get that tweaked in Operations Pro. I digress. That's not what this video is about. But I knew I wanted to have that back section linked with the Helix, just for sake of simplicity of having to rewire stuff. And forgot that one, got it moved over, and now all of the circuits and blocks, I should say, are working the way that they should. The other thing I did this morning was took some of this corrugated plastic that I have and put it on some strategic places for the helix. I ended up putting that one on backwards, so that's why it's orange. But that way it will prevent things from, nose diving onto the floor. There's some spots that I decided not to do, mainly like right here, because going back along, there's about a 2-inch, it's space that's on the wood. So if something happens, it will hit the wood just there. And then this is a short fall, so I'm not too worried about that. I did put some, you can kind of see the bottom along right there. That way nothing will fall onto the engines that are going to be parked there. So that's where I've been at so far the past couple weeks, I guess. And the next thing I'm going to do is I went down this morning and ripped some hardboard that I had with a table saw and did some 4-inch, for the most part, pieces. Say for the most part, the guardrail on it, I didn't realize that the hardboard was thin enough it would get up underneath it. So some spots it unfortunately went out 1/4 of an inch. I think was the worst that I found, but I'm not too worried about it. And we're going to get it placed and put along here. So if something happens along here or along there, I guess really there as well, things don't nosedive off to the floor. So that's what I'm going to do quick. Hopefully I can get that done relatively quickly and then maybe get some trains populated in there. So we'll see everybody in the next clip. All right, so got the fascia pieces up onto it. Haven't quite decided what color I want to paint them yet. I'll end up painting all of them the same. I'm leaning towards, of course, that is upstairs, a darker green, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to just grab some of these trains that are up here that are just in the way and start getting them put down into the staging yard. So we'll be back in just a bit once I get the layout turned on and get one of the tablets, wherever they're at, to use for running one of the trains. We'll be back in just a bit. Okay, one more clip with free camming, and then we'll get you on a tripod. But just wanted to show this. I've got this the soldering tip that I need to clean. But just to show shorting out. Of course, it won't do it. There we go. So lights work. If blue is off, there's a short, and then it fixes itself. So the other thing is I just finally opened this up after having them for a bit. But sorry for the glare, but this is how people will operate on the layout. I know I've shared it in the past that that I'm using the fire tablets, but I just got these small footprint hybrid monopod tripod kind of things and was trying a few different things, but this mount I was able to find, and this is actually the first time that I'm getting it out, but let's see if I can find a train quick. I don't know if I'll have one. Actually, yes, I know there's one built. So couple of trains. But, you'll just click on it when you're operating. If you pick up the car, or if you set it out. If they have a car to pick up, it'll say there. If you're setting out a car, it'll say that there as well. Let's see if that other train has something. There we go. So then you'll have all of these that are listed, and and then you have your just throttle right there. So in this case, the engines are on the other side of the layout, but you'll be able to hear them start up in that. So that's where we're at. I'm going to get them. And there's a lot of movement to it as well. So that's the throttles that I'm using, just there with engine driver. I'm going to get this train going, start it down the helix, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, so after a comedy of errors with the last train that I was bringing down, mainly that cars weren't behaving and I had a slight issue. I recorded a bit. I might put it up as kind of a blooper reel because it was pretty bad. But I've got a train coming down now that there shouldn't be any reason or any problems that come with it. I've limited it to about what train length I would have that would go down on just like a normal occasion. Sometimes it may be longer. Most of the times it'll be shorter. But this is about middle of what people would be having that would be coming down or going up the helix. So we're going to just let this come down. Hopefully things go well this time and I don't have to redo a third time, but we'll see. So it should be coming into frame up top right about now. And the plan is that this will be speed restricted, mainly because of just how steep the grade is. It is a 4%. And I'm glad that I was watching because I can see that there's a derailment already. So we'll fix that, and I know that's just from the weight and partly the reason for the speed restriction. So you can be watching it as it's coming down and fix anything that might have happened. The only problems that I've seen with it has been like a front car coming down, just the amount of weight that's being put on it. Because everything else is looking good. And I know I'm going to jinx myself, but even the cars that give me fits every now and then have been doing good. Let's rotate down a little bit. You can see it kind of moving there on the right. get it in frame here. What was that? That boxcar again, and I know it. Nope, I don't know what it was. Oh, yep, it is. So stop that real quick. Just fix it. Don't know why. This is I've gone up and down it a lot with testing. And of course, I'm sure it's just Murphy's Law that there's a camera on it, so it's going to give fits. Let's move you guys up just a hair. So the plan is that the train that comes in, like I was saying earlier, will come in on this middle line for the time being. You'll cut your engines off at the end of it and do whatever moves you need to do for the train. And if any, mainly this is just staging, so it'll be, oh, I want to run this train around, let's take it up, we're done with it, let's put it back. But at the same time, if people just want to kind of just fiddle down here and move cars around, I don't care. That has its own enjoyment or fun as well. So and in the case of like what's going on here today, I'll load the tracks up and then I'll go through a little later tonight and actually do some classification with it and put different cars in different areas. So anyway, this is hitting the end of it, and we'll probably run down one more train just to show that. I don't see any problems with it, but just why not have a little bit of fun? So let me get that one built, and we'll be back in just a second. All right, I figured I would film another one coming down. So we've got a Burlington Northern Santa Fe train coming down with some leased power or pool power, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully things play nice with it. I do need to clean the one engine. You can hear it kind of grinding. But Same thing. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. Well, I know one way, but I'm not going to like it. And that would be to put a re-railer in. Or I push all the cars up a little bit and make that a requirement as well. That people push them while they're starting to go down the helix a little bit. We'll see. I'll toy around with it and get it pinned down how it needs to be and what rules and such are needing to be in place. Just stop the camera there and let these come in. To be honest, the dust monkey on that one probably didn't help it either. Nope, I'm going to blame the dust monkey. At least for that one. Just because it derailed again. That one came just fine. So maybe it's just the dragging. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this series. At least for now. I still do want to do a little bit of scenery and such along here and get some engine facility stuff, mainly sanding tower and kind of fueling. And then once funds kind of recoup, I think I said it, that we'll come out around there and come around and have more over here on this side of the layout. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along with this long drug out project. Really appreciate it. And we'll see everybody in the next video.